Hi everyone, it's Emma, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to crochet the really beautiful Harlequin stitch. This has just the most gorgeous texture, and although it looks very complicated, it's much more simple than you would think. For this sample piece here, I've used lots of different shades of Hobbii Twister Solid yarn. This was very kindly gifted to me for Hobbii so that I could create this tutorial for you. Remember that I am based in the UK and therefore I use UK crochet terminology. For this pattern, you'll need to know how to crochet a UK treble, and that's equivalent to a US double. But don't worry, I'll talk you through it as we go, and I'll pop all of the information on the stitches and the different shades of yarn that I've used here in the description box below for you. So we're going to start with our first colour to create our base kind of couple of rows here, and then we're going to switch colour every 2 rows. So to start off, we'll take our first colour, and I'm going to be using a 3.5mm hook. We're going to create a slip knot, and you can do that however you prefer. We're going to pop that on our hook, and we're going to work our starting chain in multiples of 8. So for this sample piece, I'm just going to create just a small piece just to demonstrate the stitch. Obviously you would crochet yours much longer. Once you've finished working your starting chain to the required length, what we're going to do is add 2 more chains. So you'll work your starting chain in multiples of 8 plus 2 at the very end. For row number 1, we're going to turn our work. I prefer to work into the back bumps of the stitches that you can see here. I think it just keeps it neater. You can work into the front of the chain if you prefer. We're going to skip this first chain here, and we're going to go straight into the second chain with a double crochet. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that one. So that's equivalent to a US single crochet. To work that stitch, you'll need to pop your hook into the chain stitch there, grab that yarn and pull it through. You should have 2 loops on the hook. Grab that yarn and pull it through. And this first row is really easy because we're just going to work a double crochet in the same way into each one of these chains all the way along. So insert your hook, grab that yarn and pull it through. You'll have 2 loops on the hook. Grab that yarn and pull through both loops. And I just find by doing that it creates a more solid base for when we commence the actual pattern. So I'm going to go ahead now and work double crochet stitches right across that chain to the end, and then I will come back and meet you and I'll show you how to work row number 2. Once you've worked all the way across there, we're ready to begin row number 2, and row number 2 just kind of finishes off our base row, and this is this lovely wavy part here in the blue that you can see. So to begin, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to work a double crochet into the first stitch, and that's the space directly underneath that chain that you've just made. So insert your hook, grab that yarn and pull it through, grab that yarn and pull through 2. And what we're going to do next is skip the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to work into this 4th stitch along 9 treble crochets. So there's quite a lot going into this stitch here. So we're going to yarn over. So remember, skip these next 3 stitches and go into that 4th one along, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. That's our first stitch. So we've got 8 more to go. Yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. That's 2 stitches. I'll show you how to do it a couple more times. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. I'll show you one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So we've just worked 4 treble crochets. We just need to carry on now and work another 5 trebles into this same space. And remember, those are double crochets in US terms. Okay, once you've finished working those 9 trebles, we need to anchor kind of this shell down. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch along, so that's the 4th stitch along. Okay, and now we just need to keep on repeating that across the row. So we're going to skip another 3 stitches, and into this 4th stitch along we're going to work another 9 treble crochets. So 1, 2, 8, and one more. There's our 9th treble. And now, just the same as before, we need to anchor that down. So we're going to skip 3 stitches again, 1, 2 and 3. Into the 4th stitch we're going to work a double crochet, and now we're ready to work another shell. So we're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and work another 9 trebles into that 4th stitch along, and 9, and we need to anchor that down. So we're going to skip the next 3 stitches again. Into that 4th stitch we're going to work a double crochet, and we're simply going to repeat that all the way along the row. So what you'll have is you'll work 9 trebles, skip 3 stitches and work a double crochet, skip another 3 stitches and then work another 9 trebles into the next stitch. I'm going to continue now until I get to the end of the row. So I've just worked a double crochet, I'm skipping 3 stitches and I'm working 9 trebles into there. After that I'll skip another 3 and work another double into the 4th stitch, and so on. And then I'll meet you back at the end of this row and I'll show you how to change colour and how to start the pattern repeat. I've just completed my 9 trebles into that 1 stitch, and at the end of the row you should find that you have 4 stitches remaining. So we're going to skip these next 3 stitches as we have been doing, and we're going to finish off the row by working a double crochet into this last stitch. But as we do so, we're also going to change colour, ready to begin the next row. So we're going to insert our hook into that last stitch as normal, grab that yarn and pull it through, and then we're actually going to drop that colour, take the next colour that you're going to be using and loop it over our hook, and we're going to pull that through those 2 loops, and that's finished off our 2nd row and also joined our colour, ready to begin the next row. And what I'm actually going to do is leave this colour attached because I'm just going to be alternating 2 colours on this sample. I'm going to pick that colour back up and I'm going to show you how to carry the yarn up the sides so that you don't have to sew in lots of ends. So row number 3 actually commences the pattern repeat. So once we've reached the end of the video and you want to continue adding rows to your crochet piece, this is the point that you'll come back to. And we're going to begin row number 3 by chaining 3, 2 and 3, and we're going to turn our work. And if I just bring this sample piece here, you can see at the beginning, this is where we are. You can see we've got kind of a half cluster of stitches, so we're going to form kind of a half shell now, and I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to begin by working treble crochets in the same way as normal, but we're going to leave them incomplete, and we're going to do that across the next 4 stitches. This will all become clear as I show you what I mean. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to insert our hook into this next stitch here. So our chain stitches count as one stitch already. So we're not going into this space, we're going into this next one. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. And then instead of completing the stitch, we're going to leave those 2 on there. And we're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the next stitch. Grab that yarn and pull it through, yarn over and pull through 2. And then again, we're going to stop there and leave those 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and then stop. We've got 4 loops. We're going to do that one more time. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. And we've got 5 loops on the hook, and what we're going to do now is complete that by yarning over and pulling through all of those loops at once. So grab that yarn and then keep your hook nice and straight, so not like that so it's on the side or anything. Keep the tip nice and straight, angle it downwards, and it should pull through nice and easily. And what we're going to do is chain 3, and we're going to work a double crochet into this next stitch and chain 3 again. And what we're going to do now is just the same as before. We're going to work some trebles together, but just over quite a lot more stitches. So we're going to go down 4 stitches here. We've got 1 stitch, which is our double crochet in the middle here, and then back up 4 stitches. So we're going to work trebles together over 9 stitches in total. So let me walk you through that. So yarn over and insert your hook into the next stitch, grab that yarn and pull it through, grab the yarn and pull through 2, and then stop there, yarn over and go into the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through, grab the yarn and pull through 2, yarn over and go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, into the next one, yarn over, grab that yarn, yarn over and pull through 2. So we've just worked over 4 stitches. Now we're at this double crochet stitch in the center, so we're halfway through. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. And now we need to do it in 4 stitches back up this half of the shell. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab that yarn and pull it through, grab that yarn and pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. So we've got 2 more stitches to go. Yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and once more, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stitches there, 10 loops, sorry, on the hook. So don't panic, it's going to be really simple to pull through these. Make sure you don't pull everything too tight because that can make it more tricky. We're going to yarn over, keep that hook angled downwards and nice and straight, and just you can use your fingers on this left hand here to kind of pull the loops over the hook rather than pull the hook through, and that can be helpful as well. And then we're going to chain 3 and we're going to work a double crochet, and by now the next stitch is at the top of this shell here to anchor all of that down. We're going to chain 3 again, and we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. We're going to work our trebles together over the next 9 stitches. So yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then stop and continue working your trebles in the same way, always leaving an extra loop on the hook. So each time you do that, the number of loops on the hook will increase by 1, and you're going to do that in total 9 times. So I've just reached the double crochet now, so I know that I've done 4 stitches. The double crochet is always stitch number 5, and then you're going to do another 4 stitches back up. So I've got 1 stitch, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to yarn over and pull our hook through all of those loops, and then to secure that we need to chain 3, and we're going to anchor that down with a double crochet into the top of the next shell, and then we need to chain 3 again, and we're ready to work another 9 trebles together. And we just do that across the row, so you will do 9 trebles together, chain 3 and work a double crochet, chain 3 and work another 9 trebles together. I'm going to go ahead and continue across the rest of the row now, and then I will come back and show you how to finish off row number 3. I've worked my way across the row now. I've just made a double crochet into the top of this shell, and I've chained 3. And just like at the beginning of the row, we're going to finish off row number 3 with a half kind of cluster together there. So we've not got 9 stitches this time. We've got 4 stitches here, which is 1/2 of the shell, plus our double crochet, which is the 5th stitch. So we're going to do 5 trebles together all the way back down, and then I will show you how to start off row number 4. Okay, so there's our 5 trebles together, yarn over and pull through all of those, and we're going to chain 3 and turn our work, and that counts as 1 stitch. And what we're doing now, we've just worked the bottoms here, now we're going to go back along the row and work the tops. And to begin doing that, what we need to do is finish off the top half of this shell here with 4 more treble crochets into this same space. So with these 3 chains here count as 1 stitch. We're going to go into the space directly underneath that chain with 4 more treble crochets. So that counts as 5 altogether. That's 3 and 4. And this row is much easier. What we're going to do now, we don't have to chain or anything this time. We're going to work a double crochet into the top of the double crochet from the row below, and then into the top of this cluster here we're going to work 9 treble crochets, and there's a nice space here in the center that you should be able to see, and we're going to work 9 trebles. And 9. So that's finished off the top of our cluster, and we're going to anchor that down with a double crochet into the top of the double crochet from the previous row, and then we'll work another 9 trebles into the top of this cluster. So this row is much simpler. So into the top of each cluster you're working 9 trebles, you'll work a double crochet into the top of the double crochet, and then 9 trebles into the top of this cluster, and so on. And once you get to the end of the row, I will come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm ready to finish off this row now, and I've just worked my double crochet there. And if we go back to the beginning of the row, we started off with a half cluster, so we need to finish off this row with a half cluster. So we're going to work 5 treble crochets all together, and just to make it a bit neater, instead of going into this space here, so this is kind of the space where we've been working along the row, which is in the center of that cluster, we're actually going to work these 5 trebles into the top of the chain 3 from the previous row instead, and that just makes the edge of your work much neater, makes it a lot straighter. 3 and 4. So I've got one more stitch to go to make my 5 trebles, but what I am going to do is change back to the previous colour, ready to work the next 2 rows. So I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook, grab that yarn and put it through, grab that yarn and put it through. I'm going to drop this yarn, and I've left my original yarn attached here, and I'm just going to grab that with my hook and pull it through. And you don't want to pull everything too tight because it will make it cinch together, so keep that fairly loose, and then we're just going to chain 1 ready to start the next row. And then when you've finished, you can just crochet over that with a border, and then it just means you don't have to sew any ends in. So let's turn our work now, ready to begin the next row. And now that we've completed the tops of these clusters, on this row again, we're going to be working the bottom of the clusters again. So we've just changed 1. We're going to begin by working a double crochet into this first stitch directly underneath the chain. We're going to chain 3, and just like we did before, we're going to work our treble crochets over the next 9 stitches. So we've got 4 stitches going down. The 5th stitch will always be the double crochet in the middle, and then another 4 stitches back up. So we've just chained 3, and then we're going to go and begin working our trebles together over those next 9 stitches. And here's my 5th one. Whoops. And then I've got another 4 stitches to go back up the cluster from the previous row. 2, 3 and 4, and then grab that yarn and pull through all of those loops on the hook and chain 3 to make it nice and secure. And then we're going to work a double crochet into the top of that cluster there to anchor it down, chain 3 again, and then work another 9 trebles together. So we're going to do that all the way along the row. So it's 9 trebles together, chain 3 and a double crochet, chain 3, 9 trebles together, chain 3 and a double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and continue across the row. So I've just chained 3, and I'm ready to start my 9 trebles together. 1, 2, 8 and 9. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through all of those loops, chain 3, work a double crochet in the top of that cluster there to anchor it down, chain 3 again, and then I'm ready to work my 9 trebles together. So I'm going to continue across the row, repeating that, and then I will meet you about here to show you how to finish the row off and to complete the final row of the pattern repeat. Okay, so I'm ready to work my last 9 trebles together now. So I'm going to chain 3, work my 9 trebles together, and here's my 9th stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull through all of those loops, and then we're going to chain 3. And if we look back at the beginning of the row, remember we started with a double crochet over here, so we're going to finish off exactly the same, and that's going to go into the top of the chain 3 from the previous row here. And now we're ready to begin our final row of the pattern repeat. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to work a double crochet into this double crochet here. We don't need to chain anything this time, and what we need to do is work 9 treble crochets into the top of this cluster. And there's our 9th stitch, so that's formed the top of our cluster there, and we need to anchor that down by working a double crochet into the top of this double crochet. We don't need to chain anything, and now we need to work another 9 trebles into the top of the next cluster. So it's a lovely easy row again, this one. So 9 trebles into the top of this cluster, no need to chain anything. double crochet into the top of this double crochet, 9 trebles into the next cluster, and so on. So go ahead and continue working your way, repeating that across the row, and then I'll come back and show you how to complete and finish off your work. I've just worked my 9 trebles into this last cluster, and to finish off the row we just need to work a double crochet into the top of that double crochet here, and to continue building, this is the point at which you would swap yarn again. So I've just inserted my hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through, but then I would drop that yarn, pick up the previous colour and pull that through to complete the stitch. And then you would just go back and continue repeating those last 4 rows. One last thing that I'm going to show you is how to square off your work at the top here. So if you remember when we first started, we only started off with half a row, so we've only got half a cluster here, and we need to finish in the same way. So I'm actually going to pull this out, because what you will need to do is finish on after a row with the 9 trebles together, not a row where you finish off the clusters at the top. So let's imagine that we've just completed a row here where we've worked our 9 clusters together, so we've got half of a row there, and now we've decided that our work's actually is big enough and we want to square off that top there. Okay, so what we would do, instead of continuing to fill in the tops of these clusters, we would chain 1 and turn as normal. We're going to work a double crochet into that first space, but then what we're going to do is work 2 more doubles into that chain 3 space from the previous row, so 1 and 2. We're going to work a double crochet into the center of that cluster, another 2 double crochets into that chain 3 space, a double crochet into the top of the double crochet, and another 2 into the chain 3 space. And we would continue like that all the way across the row. So we'll do a double crochet into the cluster here, 2 in the chain space, 1 into the double crochet, 2 into the chain space, 1 into the cluster. So you're doing 2 doubles into each chain space and 1 double into the top of each stitch, whether that's a double crochet or the cluster. Simply do that all the way along and then finish off by working a double into the last stitch at the end, and that creates a nice flat surface at the top, and then you could just crochet a border all the way around to make it extra neat. I hope you found that tutorial helpful. Please like and subscribe if you did. Let me know what else you'd like to see in future, and I will see you again soon. Take care everyone. Bye.